know, in the business world, particularly for small business owners, every day is a new day, and there's always something flying at you that you need to get going to make your business run as efficiently and profitably as possible. People always put a lot of time and effort into getting just the right hardware systems, computer-wise, but very few of them think about software. They just grab something off the shelf and go from there. Well, you know what? There's a much better way to do it 99% of the time, and that's where we are today here on All In. The name of the company we're chatting with is Angel City Data, Mr. Angel City Data himself, and our guest, David Knight, right here on the show. Hey, David, how are you, buddy?
How you doing, Brian? Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, I appreciate you popping in with us as well. Before we get on to Angel City Data, give me a little background real quick about your background in the business, in the industry of the wheel, everything you've done that kind of gets you where you are today.
Thanks. I started, actually I was a radio broadcaster back in the day, pivoted into becoming a recording engineer and a record producer. I did that for about 15 years, got tired of the hours and the craziness, and started building software systems for myself. And the next thing you know, I started building systems for studios, post-production, so forth. It just kept steamrolling and snowballing from there. I kept getting more and more customers, started hiring developers. Next thing you know, I got a business. Next thing you know, we're touching probably 117 different industries and have built 2,000 custom systems over the years for a wide variety of people.
Well, and that's a great place for us to start, Dave. Appreciate that. But what I wanted to make people understand, and you've already touched on it, is the things you do are not industry specific. They're software specific. Give us some of the pluses as to why people, instead of just grabbing something off the shelf, and let's don't get anything wrong, there's some fine stuff out there, but a lot of times you're proverbially cramming the square peg into the round hole with a one-size-fits-all program. Give me the advantages. I know there's several, but some of the top advantages to have something built specifically software-wise for your company.
That's a great point. You know, that off the shelf thing, it's great. If you go to Macy's, you buy a suit off the rack, it fits perfect. But if you can get a better look and a feel and a better tailoring by paying attention to the uniqueness of you, that's going to be better. Let me give you an example. You know, we talk with businesses all the time that have a very unique business DNA. They have a way they work with their clients. They have a way they work with their vendors. They have workflows and processes that are very specific and successful. And we always tell everybody, don't bend your successful business into an off-the-shelf piece of software that may not let you keep those advantages, that make you either walk away from those advantages that make you as successful as you are, or force you to do additional steps or things that really aren't part of your DNA, your workflow, your special sauce. So that's why paying attention to those things can really make a difference and just shave hours off your work days.
Well, and there you go. Once you start shaving hours, you're increasing your ROI. That's one thing everybody's always looking at. What's my return on investment? Well, I look at something as software. That's what it is. It's not an expense. It's an investment. But you're a technology guy. Talk to me in your experience about how people can use technology, the ROI. How can I show that it's worth the investment that I'm making, because to the bottom line of the business, it's increasing dramatically through technology?
Yeah, what we're able to do, we don't want to just throw something at you and say there's ROI in it. We want to take a look at what you're currently doing, look for technological advancements that we can put in place. Bottom line, I'm re-entering data in multiple places. As I enter that data, mistakes often happen. I'm trying to ad hoc generate reports manually. I'm trying to reach out to customers with key information. Those are all things that can be streamlined and automated and efficiency. So if I'm looking at a small company, even of 10 people, and we're spending 15 minutes a day per person doing this one thing over and over, if we alleviate that, we very quickly, when you start figuring out what the salaries are and the associated costs of doing the old way versus a new way, we can generally build a system that completely pays for itself in less than a year. And I don't know too many other acquisitions that you can add to your business that have that quick of an ROI.
I mean, just to bring it on down succinctly, time is money, and you only have certain hours in the day. And if you and other members of your team are doing the same thing, entering the same data over and over and over, it totally makes sense to come up with a customized software program that maybe one person's entering the data, then everybody gets to see it. So you're going to speed things up dramatically there. You know, as things keep changing here in the business world, it seems to me, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but mobile applications are getting bigger than ever. I mean, there's very few people that sit in their office on a desktop all day. They're at least having laptops, but these days they're getting tablets and maybe doing a lot of work on their phones as well. Talk to me about the mobile flexibility that you're able to bring to the table as well.
That's a great question. A number of years ago, we would accessorize systems with mobile. Now, often the mobile component is the biggest single efficiency gain that we can get. People that are out in the field tracking time, tracking projects, updating the status of things, those can happen in real time, go right into the system, eliminate that extra redundant data entry point, and get structured data into a system where management, reporting, automation can happen with it. So yeah, the mobile component, we've taken small companies of less than 100 people, just doing something as simple as time entry. We've saved on the order of $400,000 a year for a relatively small company of about 100 people. So yeah, the kind of gains that you can get through mobile, fantastic. The use of the camera, the use of time entry, of capturing field information and so forth. It's phenomenal.
Well, particularly when you've been going through as a small business, as all businesses of any size, with everything going on in the world for the last year, there's absolutely an increase in mobile stuff because, frankly, you're not indoors with everybody else anymore. And I'm just curious, with the pandemic and everything going on, did you see a little bit of a bump in your business as far as people were looking to get more mobile than they used to be?
Yeah, the mobile piece has been a steadily growing piece. I would say the thing that really surprised us during the pandemic was that lack of physical office space that you attend to. There is no file cabinet. Can we build systems that integrate with Box.com or Dropbox, et cetera? So can we put our documents in a place where everybody can get to them? We're not physically printing out invoices because maybe the billing clerk is now at home and she doesn't want to print 400 invoices. So let's integrate with Bill.com or QuickBooks Online or things of that nature, where we can basically push workflow into these tools that deliver or store or integrate with a system and give information or share information invisibly in the background without the need of a physical office space. So the mobile pandemic, or pardon me, the global pandemic has led to a lot of people addressing efficiencies that are going to be good for them moving forward anyway.
Totally agree. And we've now got to the point here in the last year, the word 12 months ago was pivot, and the word now seems to be hybrid, as everything's going to be a hybrid situation of what it was before, during, and now after the pandemic, as hopefully we're starting to crawl out of things here just a little bit. Last thing I want to touch on quickly with you is the importance of good design. Walk me through the process as a business owner meets with you for the first time. What are you doing? I'm guessing you're listening a lot more than you're talking initially. Is that fair enough?
We're in heavy listen mode, and then as we collect during that what we call discovery phase, then we're starting to do the design. We're starting to solve the problem either on paper, whiteboard, mock-ups, and things of that nature. We're thinking about when you're holding that tablet, where are your thumbs, and let's put the buttons that you mostly need as close as possible to those. We're looking at the workflow so that let's make you not have to bounce back and forth between 3 screens to get a task that you might have that's blended across modules and so forth. So we're looking at a lot of things like that. And again, if good designs make for happy users, and if happy users use the system, then management gets that benefit of all that productivity gain with the systems that they have and so forth. So that's a great recipe for a successful system by paying attention to design.
The design, it's all critical, and then I guess right there on top of design, eventually you have to get to an education process where you're going to work with people to help sure they know how to implement the software properly to make sure it can do everything it can do. Because if you have all this system that can do all these great projects and I don't know what they are, I'm underutilizing it for lack of a better word. We can say that for another time. I'm about to run out today, but the bottom line, folks, is this: you may or may not be able to do what you do with off-the-rack software, but you can absolutely do what you need to do and increase your bottom line with custom-made software by guys just like David Knight. Hey, appreciate you being with us today. It's great stuff. Thanks for all you do to keep businesses rolling efficiently. Take care.
Bye.